my talk was about explainable AI. Now, explainable AI is all about, making your models and explaining how the decisions were taken by the model. How did the model predict what it predicted? So right now, there's this conversation going on in data science community about how do we make our models more trustworthy. See, as I talked about in my presentation, so if a model says it's a picture of a bird, now it should do it not because it saw a lot of blue in the background, which could be because of the sky or water, and that's what most of your bird pictures would be. But it should be because it identifies a unique feature like a beak, unique feature like a wing, right? And if it says it's a parrot, it should say, okay, along with these features, I see a color there or a particular shape of a claw or a beak and things like that, right? So that is all about explainable AI. To make my models more accountable and to have a better control over them. No, I don't want unnecessary discriminations, or as we talked about, what Amazon faced. Obviously, you don't want to pull back your models from production, right? Just because beforehand you did not know it was, picking up features which are very gender specific. So that is what my talk was all about. See, that explainable AI is one way of doing it, because explainable AI tells you which features went into the model prediction, both at a global level. So it will tell you when the model was getting trained and building at an overall level, which all features, which all specific items did it pick up and found them to be useful. Now, for example, in this case, when you're talking about Amazon and hiring, it could be actually the education, which may be one of the relevant factors. Then you also look at it, is it picking up on name? Because your names tend to be very gender specific. Now, if you don't have names, you have some education. Is it picking up on, some streams of education have a higher or fewer proportion of women into it, right? So you may have maybe a fewer proportion of women in aeronautics as against in designing. Right, so those are the things that it may be picking up. Now you have to be very aware. If you know initially or rather post your model is made, if you know what features are trained on, and for a specific example, if you know why it accepted a candidature or why it rejected a candidature, which exact values did it pick it up, you can actually do a debugging. You can actually drill down, go back and look at it and say, okay, is some bias coming in? So that's the way to handle it. Okay, what the organizations can do, and I think it's a bigger, more than the organization, it's a wider societal problem. See, what happens is when two people get married and one of them has to relocate, it would mostly be a woman. When a child comes into a family, a beautiful thing to happen, but who takes a career break, either by, quitting workplace or taking work from homes, it's again a woman. Again, the household responsibility, somewhere you're, taking care of the workplace, you're coming back and still taking care of the children, house. Who has that responsibility? It's not about you may have outsourced it to 10 people, but at the end of the day, who's responsible for it? It's mostly the women. So I think somewhere they just get tired and drop out. That is what happens. I think our entry level is not so bad. A lot of it is again in engineering colleges being a technical domain and technical field. It could be coming from there not enough women in STEM fields and science and technology, though I believe that's changing. So our entry positions and the entry intake of women is not that bad, thankfully, anymore. The challenge is when they start growing up, because a lot of them stop being full-time or stop putting in as much effort into their careers. That is there. Also, we see less women at senior positions, which is more of a historical reasons. Like, your senior position women are about who entered the workforce about 20 years ago. And much fewer women entered workforce 20 years ago, especially in the STEM fields. And the larger portions dropped out because the societal support was much less. Now, thankfully, you do have creches, and so that's another thing. But affirmative actions at the organization levels would definitely help. I am all for upskilling. So I'm one of the examples. I took a career break thanks to motherhood, and then obviously instead of going into full-time work, I kind of went into a teaching career, and after a while I wanted to re-enter the industry and I upskilled myself. So I think there is no limitation to the age, and especially in technology with the new age technologies like data sciences, big data, blockchains, everyone is on a level playing field. So you don't really have a advantage or a disadvantage against because somebody has spent 20 years in the industry, right? So those advantages are gone, and therefore reskilling, especially in new gen technologies, is it's a big thing, and I do believe and I do encourage all the women to do that. Oh, I loved it. It was wonderful to be here. The talks were great. I met few very interesting women, and no better way than coming here how to spend my Women's Day today. So that's good.